Wonderful, William. We are live now.
Hey, I'm alive and kicking. That's always
And
a good thing. Oh,
I am just going to make sure we're live on our other event. Hello. Take a moment just to make sure
okay.
I have everything so that I'm seeing the chat that comes in with people. Is an opportunity for you to ask questions about the course in the chat and really let us know what's presenting for you. It could also be a little bit more about what you're looking for from the course, because as with everything that William does and what we've experienced in assisting with this course previous times, that each course is its own live deity. We have certain things we are going to share, and your interactions, your questions, we've added a little extra time on each of the events for questions, individual participation. So all of that individual participation makes the course unique to itself. And can you share a little bit more about that, William?
Yeah, so each and every course, that we offer, it's not just what we're going to share topic-wise, it's that we go further and further, deeper and deeper, and more expansive upon each and everything that we're working with, each and every dear one that's on the event. We make it more specific to each and every individual, more specific to the actual topic, but also expanding and going deeper with each and every topic, assisting you in your own live stream, your personal live stream of what's really blocking you, getting in your way personally and uniquely, and then also assisting you to overcome, supersede, get to the cause, core, the breaker, and the effect of what has been, and going further and further into what is, and also further and further into who you are as you are, but also waking up from the genetics, waking up from the just 12-strand double helix states of DNA, the strands of DNA, youth vitality chromosomes, really stepping into you embodying, aligning, divinitizing, and also stepping into your own power, your own divinity, including the light beingness that you are, and then going into superseding, overcoming any and all inner influences, interferences, and also going into what really puts you on the sidelines, what really sidetracks you, what really gets you caught up on a personal level, whether it be finances, whether it be new opportunities, business opportunities, friendships, camaraderies, relationships, even from your soul level, your creator consciousness, vows, contracts, and agreements, entities, energies, thought forms. And when you're picking up and acting, reacting, going into autopilot within and through the mass collective thought forms, and acting, reacting in all these different ways based in the solar plexus down. So based in survival, based in doing this, doing that, going here, going there, based in kind of like, all the sheep walking off a cliff, following the leader rather than you stepping into you and saying, yeah, I'm not, chances are due to the forces of gravity on or not, if I take that last step, following everyone else, looking at what is, well, chances are due to gravity, my body is going to end up where the other bodies are. At least I have more cushion if I land on them rather than if I land on my own. But it's kind of like, why are we doing what we're doing when we're doing it? And really waking up to that on a one-on-one individualized basis, moment by moment, day by day, hour by hour, minute by minute, but as well as taking it further of what's really controlling you, what's really dominating you, what's really affecting your intimate, loving relationships of the heart, what's really having them go south, what's really having you. I used a metaphor like you won the lottery, you have your ticket in your hand, you're going to cash in, and it seems like you get in a car accident, the ticket light's on fire, or whatever happens right before you're about to cross the finish line, and boom, what keeps blocking you and getting in your way from being able to cash in the ticket? What continues to be in your way and get in your way of having you put on all these shoes of another and others? See, I remember a very specific example of a dear one that was a good friend eons ago that no longer is on the planet, still is a good friend, but where every time she got on an airplane, I believe it was like Kansas City, Missouri or something like that, she'd get on the plane to go visit her parents. And this young lady was, in her like 67 or something like that. She hops on the plane, she gets in her seat, she buckles in, and then the plane takes off. It's all good. She's in her own divinity. But as they announce the final descent, and I walked her through this right when they said, okay, we're now reaching Kansas City, the arches, blah, blah, blah. Every single time they started the final descent, she could watch herself and her body metamorphosize. She would look down at her body. She would see these little girl church shoes. She would see this little girl church dress going to Sunday meeting and all this fun stuff. And she would literally retract and become this little girl again every time she came to see her family. And these are things that are very real, not just about her journey. It's one of those, when you're awake, you're always going to be awake. There's no going to sleep again. But there are things like this that what is controlling you. So for her, and this is where we get into the psyche, the subpsyche, vows, contracts, and agreements, all this stuff, although the karmic grid system's resolved and done, there's all these things that are still playing out. So whether it's habitual, whether it's emotional, this stuff that every time she would become their scared little girl again, trying to be a good little girl. And every time she would go there, she would get ill, she would become the little girl. And every time she would come back, coming back to Vegas, she would hop on the plane, more angry, more volatile, and more worked up at herself for playing in those roles and not understanding what happened. Like, where did the sucker punch come from and what was going on? Who put whatever in her Kool-Aid? But it was stuff that she had gone well beyond this, but every time, due to patterning, due to survival, she would become that little girl. And this is where, when we look at the course, there's things like that. I used to play with humor around. It's like, okay, to see how far we really are along our journey, why don't we go have a holiday dinner with the family monad? Because let's be honest with ourselves. It's not what we share, what we're sissing with isn't just happy-go-lucky, feel good, whatever. And then once you turn off the computer, you feel good for a few hours, and then we get back to your day-to-day life, and then, whoa, where did that go? This isn't an event for those that are just looking for an energetic high, like another, event for, like high energy endurance, although it is high energy, but it's not something you walk away from and then have a major drop. Right. It's something that continually grows.
And that leads me into, William, that this course, when it was created, is created including adult learning principles that at first we are clear about the information. So example, the whole first month, the attention and focus is on embracing and becoming yourself as creator incarnate. And the reason why that is a whole month is that when you move from thinking you're creator incarnate, then you apply the tools and exercises day by day through the month that are part of the course. Then you get an opportunity to have your questions answered. You are moving from thinking to practicing to feeling. Now you're feeling your presence as creator consciousness, a facet of creator consciousness. And when you're getting to the place of feeling it, you get to the place of knowing and being, where you don't even have to think about it for a second. And then the second month is about reclaiming yourself. This is about resolving and dissolving misperceptions of yourself. And so any and all emotions are here and welcome to be cleared as misperceptions of yourself. Anytime you feel shut down, anytime you feel anxiety, anytime you feel guilty, and the patterned thoughts, we work through in this month the opportunity to resolve and dissolve. This is, William was sharing, this really isn't for the just watching. This isn't a intellectual game. This is your full participation because you've committed to yourself, to being yourself, to experiencing your true self, being and becoming your true self, and all the ease and grace and peace of mind throughout your day, your ability to have tools to be at your family gathering and see and feel and experience things differently. And then the third month is doing a deeper dive into accessing and connecting to your higher realms, your guidance realms, your knowingness, where you have the tools and are gaining the connection to all that's available, all those realms that are your higher realms, your entourage that's available to you.
And going back to the first month, yes, in each month, we give you things to play with, to practice, exercises. But when it all comes up to it, like the first month, they're exercises, but the exercises, when I look at them all, this is how I sum it up. One part's a strip down, the next of all the stuff that is not you. The second part, and even bringing it forth to awareness. The second part, like the first month, it's more about becoming more and more comfortable with and as your true self, not the self that was taught that I have a female body, so my favorite color's got to be pink and I got to have the life of Barbie or whatever. The second, and then if I'm male, I have to go play rugby, and all of a sudden I create this identity that I'm a rough and tough rugby player, when no, you may play rugby, but you're not some rough and tough rugby player. That's something you do. It's like, if I do plumbing, it doesn't make me a plumber. That's something I can do. That's a very small, minuscule part of who I am or what I can do, not even who I am. But yet it's becoming more comfortable with letting you become you. And it goes to show yourself, okay, it's like oh, grown, it's Sunday night, get ready for work on Monday, and you're already there or whatever. Like your consciousness is already pulling back rather than I get to go to work on Monday. And okay, it's not so much about a 9 to 5. Let's stop, take a breath. Let's look around at all the other dear ones that I get to enjoy. It's not even just a shift in your mind. It's more a shift with opening up, taking off the tunnel vision, opening up your heart, opening up your eyes, opening yourself up, bringing yourself from the solar plexus up through your upper chakra level vortexes, the crown, the third eye, the throat, the heart. And not that you're going to run around and give everyone a hug or anything, but it is one of those things that ideally you can tell how free you are when you can leave that 9 to 5 more re-energized rather than taxed and tired and worn out. Now, some jobs require more mental energy, of course. I would say a lot of jobs do, but it still doesn't take away from you. Once again, we're letting the mind do it, not yourself. But still, it's not pulling you down. It's not all this emotional, I'm worthy, not worthy, like all this stuff playing out in the background. Of course, you're worthy. You're creator incarnate here. So whether it's that or painting a house or whatever it may be, you're so far beyond worthy, lovable, loving, and everything else because you are who you are. Those other things, yeah, you're using your mind as the mind was created to be used to ensure that all is well. Not about how many books you read, not about how much intellect you have, not about fall colors, whatever. It's truly about letting the mind work for you, not you being ran and having yourself perceive that the mind, then the emotional hangups are your master. There's many dear ones, and part of this course is to have you start to come to terms with, realize, wake up to that the mind's not in control of you. You are the master here that happens to have a body and happens to have a mind. And the master is the master of love.
Mm-hmm.
Once again, not hugging and snuggle parties, but it's more like love is the force that glues the whole universe together. It's what holds matter together, including each and every piece of dirt and sand that holds this planet together. It's everything. And it's core of its very particle, which is consciousness.
Wow. Thank you, William.
And so much more. I mean, because there's that part, and then there's going into why do you do what you do when you do it? And then, this is about you personally, not mimicking the rest of society.
Thank you. And we've addressed this a little bit, and this is from Jacinth. Will this course help in reducing the control, judgment, and increase our patience?
Yes. And it's also going to have you be able to metamorphosize the idea, which humans get really confused with this. It'll help you really discern the difference between true patience, clarity, and understanding instead of tolerating. And to where you're moving into true patience, clarity, and understanding, to where you're free of tolerating, like it's like sitting back, tapping your toe, biting your fingernails off, like tap, tap, tap. Okay, when's it going to happen? Okay, when are they going to get it? Blah, blah. All that emotional frustration, irritation, all the Asians, inflammation and all of those into, okay, I see where the dear one's at now. How best can I have clarity, understanding, which now is going to literally speed everything up for you and for them, because now you don't have two opposing forces going head to head. As you're open with clarity and understanding, it lets everything flow that much faster, because you're not butting heads. Even if you don't ever say a word, it could be, which we're adding topics, like intimate relationship with the heart, an intimate loving relationship with the heart, where we're getting it out of a mental, intellectual, or emotional relationship. And we're rising it up with, once again, clarity, understanding, not bringing in the next victim that you're going to change, or vice versa.
Right.
They're ones that are going to highlight, and that's where we get to like going down a notch back to divine compliments that you have had prior journeys with. That's a whole different story. They're there to complement your life and vice versa. But this is now we're rising it up to the heart and coming together in an intimate, loving relationship with the heart that goes beyond only complimenting. It goes into opening up, becoming open, expressive, receptive, like your best friend. Then heart to heart, we express love, we emanate love, we receive love, and we amplify, emanate, and it also affects both of your worlds rather than having one affect your world and you're affecting their world. It's where derogatorily, it's where we're risen up to where now it's like we're at the top of the planet, walking amongst the planet, but yet not being affected by all the little stuff.
Yes. And on the website, we highlight at the end of this course, things that you can expect. And we take all of these statements very seriously in what you will receive and also embody, and William was just sharing, you'll, at the end of this course, be very clear in embodying that you're okay with what is going on around you.
Yeah, and then we're also going to, like with the intimate loving relationship with the heart and those sort of relationships, we're going to really expand upon, as well as expanding upon and facilitating that, as well as with alchemizing fear and lack into lightness and abundance. And then, as we mentioned a little bit ago about how to be in an intimate loving relationship with yourself, number one, then your family monad, then your camaraderies, and then everyone and everything in the world. That goes from dear ones on the highway, dear ones at the coffee shop, it goes to workers, co-workers, it goes to anywhere and everywhere you go, where you become more receptive rather than believing, perceiving that you're on a constant battlefield. And where it's a whole different way of life. I don't want to be clear. Everything we're sharing here, I don't care if you've done the first course or not. This is on this course, this is where you're further integrating, going further with it, opening up way much more and expanding way much more. And that's why we've added more to it now that we have more of a system down to be able to assist further. And then bringing your misperceptions into clarity, understanding. That's where you start to realize that there are no outside anti-forces against you. And as we were talking, Mr. Connell and I were talking earlier about, even when we were looking at podcast topics from demons, poltergeist, entities, energies, thought forms that I usually do in October, but if you wish, we could break that down during the course as well and what they really are, but also to break down the fears, the structures, all the, perceptional beliefs about it all, which the misperceptions just hold you hostage with holding you in fear. Aliens on planet, off planet, not to get too woo-woo all about it, but they are what they are, but still looking at it for what it is without fear.
This is a question from Judy that came in about fear. Can you speak about the layers of fear of my expansion? So, when people are experiencing sort of a hesitancy to really expand their vibrational consciousness, expand their consciousness to feel their true self.
Yeah, that's pretty simple. So let's all stop for a minute. Let's take a nice deep breath, a nice deep sigh. Now, as we do, let's just do ourselves a favor. Let's step right out of our life stream for a moment. All of everything you've ever experienced in a body on a planet from first separation to now. You've been the victim, you've been the victimizer. This goes for everyone. You've been the angry dear ones, you've been the loving dear ones, you've been the beautiful divine feminine on the prairies, you've been the divine male, rape, pillage, plunder, blah, blah, blah. Everyone has been every role, hence is the karmic lattice work. Now, let's look at our current life streams where you've been superseding, overcoming, going beyond all vows, contracts, and agreements, waking up from them. Everything you've experienced from the family monad that you chose out of 3 options, out of everything you've experienced from childhood to in the womb to teenagehood to right now. I'm not saying it has to be horrific. I'm not saying it has to be the Partridge Family or Brady Bunch or Leave It to Beaver either. Everyone's journey is different. That's part of the beauty here. You all come from the same source, which is Creator as a whole, you being the facets that you are. But now let's ask ourselves, and you see, you're aware of everything you've ever experienced in a body on a planet. You've been aware of the fears, you've been aware of the anxieties, you've been aware of the angst, some night terrors, some nightmares, whatever. Now, let's ask ourselves right here, right now, to be ourselves, which you're always yourself, whether you express it or not. It doesn't change who you are. But let's ask ourselves very literally right now. We can look at the neighbors, we can look at the government, we can look at dear ones on television, we can look at anyone and everyone in the grocery store or in traffic. Let's look over at them and let's see what their idea of the perceptual norm is. And honestly, how's that working for them? My point right now is to ask ourselves, in all reality, physical, mental, all reality, what do you have to lose? Now, it's pretty simple. You have to lose lack. You have to lose the cloud of fear. You have to lose all the embodied emotions. You have to lose the ego controlling and trying to hold you hostage and keep you secret in this torture chamber dungeon. And you have to lose the constant sensation of being all alone for the rest of your years in this physical incarnation. You have to lose all the self-inflicted torment that you listen to daily for that one blooper, not that it really was a blooper, but the one blooper when you stole your first piece of candy from the thrifty drugstore as a child, and all the guilt that's been accumulated and looking down on, and all the stuff that's kept you up at night, and all the ulcers that are now growing in your tummy because of a Tootsie Roll. Now, you have a lot to lose. You have a lot to lose in the intestinal tract, the colon, small and large intestine, the liver, the spleen, the gallbladder, the pancreas, the back of the brain, the midbrain, even the frontal lobe of the brain. You have a lot to lose when it comes to, tumors, blockages in your system that are starting to get backed up. And just like a river, when things start to get blocked or back up, things start to grow, like bacteria, algae, bacteria, viruses eventually. So yeah, you have a lot to lose by letting yourself be yourself. Now, that's really the truth. Now, in history, if we're going to look at history, herstory, or just story, you start to look, okay, yeah, there's been only a few, I can count them pretty much on one hand, examples of extremes. Okay, a one dear one got put on a cross. All right. Another one's got burned at the stake. Okay. Other ones, the missions got burned down with all the children in them. Other dear ones, yeah, the Indians came in, overtook them, and I say Indians, but basically natives. And this has happened in every culture, color, and creed, because they were different than all the others that were around them. Now, that's a tiny handful, way, way, way back when. Now, let's bring it to right here, right now, where, okay, legally speaking, that would be highly illegal. Secondly speaking, it's very rare, if at all, to have a spectacle in town square where someone's getting hung, burned, or beheaded anymore. I'm not saying it doesn't happen here and there, but a lot of those are just sanctioned small groups. But even they're being exposed and wiped out and assisted off the planet to make a full transition. Now, this is where we get into, it's kind of a funny one, right? Because it bleeds into arrogance. It's like being afraid of sharks, and takes a lot of arrogance to be afraid of sharks, that you, out of the 5 million people going out of the ocean that day, you're the only one that great white's going to target. You're pretty darn special. Or that tiger
pretty
shark.
Tasty.
Yeah, they've just been out there, flossing their teeth, shining them up, using toothpicks, chewing on coral, just waiting for you personally to come out and swim around the reef. Only you alone, out of the 5 million people that are out there. Now, that takes a lot of arrogance if we're gonna really, really take that to heart. Or you're the only one that was by the cross with Jesus, the Christ of Nazareth. Yeah, if I had a nickel for every time I've heard that one, I'd still be doing this event because this is what I love. But I'd be doing it on my private yacht, probably sailing through Bermuda Triangle or something, having a mojito. Now, it's like,
thank you.
Enough with the arrogance.
Well, and Shark Week is William's favorite week, so
Got done looking at you. It was a great year.
There can be a number of shark references when you communicate with. And he also likes to, share funny jokes related to sharks.
Yeah, humor. That's because I'm glad you brought that up, Michael, because this brings up the simplicity of things, the simplicity of enlightenment. This brings up the simplicity of lightening up, which is the true definition of enlightenment. Freedom of density. The next part is higher levels, creator levels, manifest levels, source consciousness that I am, a facet of. You help me to clear so I can love. All the rest, abundance, opportunities, relationships, on and on and on and on. You see, you're not going to go without. All of that's going to take care of itself. Now it's just a matter of what are you going to let work?
Hmm.
And part of that is humor. You don't have to be a comedian, but it is lighten up.
Yes. And for all of you that know William, that's a real part of this course as well.
Very
Is
much so.
having fun, keeping it light. Yes, there are some things within us that need to be looked at, and we feel very strongly that they have a control on us. And this course is structured in the months and ways that it is, so that resolving and dissolving those emotions and misperceptions of your true self is easier and easier.
Yeah, one thing I want to add to that, Michael, is there are things that seem very serious. There are things that seem very intense. There are things that seem very fearful. There are things that seem very tormentuous, punishing, victimization, being victimized. And part of this, although we're having a lot of fun, the biggest part is bringing them to light, which is a whole nother reference of enlightenment, to where they're no longer eating away at you. They're no longer holding you hostage. And a whole nother part here is, okay, well, like that question from beautiful Miss Judy. Okay, well, okay, I have everything to gain. The only thing I'm losing is the stuff that isn't really me anyways. It was taught, it was experienced, and it all happened for me to get my own attention. So we start to shift over to, okay, this happened for me, not to me. Not just a mental gymnastics game. You start to step back to look at the whole picture, not just the isolated part of how you received it or perceived it now from just your angle. And then from here, we're bringing light within you, through you, to every part of you, which does cover every part of your life, from the integrity of your finances, your families, your friends, your camaraderies, your intimate loving relationships to the heart, your businesses, your optimum health and well-being, adulthood, childhood, womb stuff, incarnational stuff, influences, interferences, vibrational frequencies, your light bodies, and going through quantum leaping and activating all of you, rather than just my celestial Christ consciousness self.
Great, William. There's a question from a dear one about regarding legal problems in my life stream.
Yeah.
Will this help me shed this pattern and regain my own authority?
Yeah, because it's going to assist you to step into your power, to where you're no longer in fear of others being in control of your life stream. And then it's also going to affect your undercurrent theme of, it's almost like martyrdom, where it's almost like a child picking out the bully on the playground and having to challenge them to prove yourself. So it's like all the powers of authority and all of the undercurrent ones, and which borderlines a little bit on martyrdom, but it's also a major power game of what are you going to let have power over you, and then starting in moving into invoking divine justice, not just humanity justice.
And this speaks to the uniqueness of each course in that your questions, your participation impacts what questions are presented to the group, as well as answered through William. And you're also paired with two other people in this course, and we can quickly talk, William, about the triads, which we found was a very beneficial complementary part of the course. Is William is going to pair you with two other dear ones in the course that is going to be most complement you. And so throughout the course, outside of the course events, you will connect, you have the opportunity and will connect with your triad to assist each other further, to help each other answer questions, to share your successes, to come up with questions collectively for the course Q&As. Each event, we take a number of individual questions, and we always also have just one event that is related to just questions and answers. And so there's always a lot of opportunity for your unique expression to come through this course to assist you and to assist all concerned.
Okay, now just to add to that for a moment, we're going to pair you up, but at the beginning, when we have all the registries, everyone's going to have the option to be in a triad or not. So it's not a quote have to, it's a definite benefit where you share, you could share with one another, okay, this is what I heard, okay, that's what I heard, this is what I understood, that's what I understood. And then you get together, if there's any questions about it, you get together via Zoom, or if you happen to live in the same area, awesome, even better, get together for coffee or tea or whatever it calls to you. But it's also the opportunity to connect with others that are doing their utmost to walk their own walk, coming from a whole different background, experiences, to where the other part here is to be able to connect with dear ones that are on their own journey, being able to share, being able to see, for one, you're not alone. Number two, to have real dialogues, real conversations with others that you have experienced me, what you're going through, on and on and on, not turning it into a mini workshop. That is not what that's about. It's about sharing what you heard, them sharing what they heard, sharing your interpretation, them sharing their interpretation. If there is something you're hearing two totally different things, great, bring it to the group. Ask on the next event as your triad question, you know, for more clarity. Not that one's right, not that one's wrong, we're not into playing the Enlightenment Olympics. As far as we're concerned, everyone is equal. No one's further, no one's less, no one's gonna be your new mentor or whatever. That's all ego nonsense. We're not welcoming people so they can network and sell themselves. We're not into prostitution, male or female, or whatever you identify with. So from here, this is about you having others that you can connect with, others that you can share with. Not fix because they're not broken, not fix because you're not broken. Now you will have the option at the very beginning, so please decide, you know, meditate on it, connect with yourself about it if you wish to be a part of a triad, because after we have the list, I will be looking through them, tuning in, and putting you with the group that's going to most benefit you. Now, benefiting you doesn't mean we're all going to sit around the campfire and make s'mores. It means at times that it's also going to be dear ones that are going to have, at times you may feel challenged, you may feel pushed. It's not even about what they say. It may just be their tone of voice. It may just be what they look like. It may just be what they sound like that's going to bring stuff up in you. For you to sit back, take a breath, and resolve within yourself. See, this course is not for the faint of heart. This course is for those that truly want to step into who they are and also living the life they were created to live as created. Not that it's been not that there's some pre-written plan, because there's not. It's more about all that's accessible. And to do that, it's help me to clear so I can level up, so I can get rid of the stuff that's not me, so I can be myself.
Wonderful. I want to make sure we're getting through more questions, William. That's great. And this is from NG. How similar or how different is a private session with energy work versus participating in this course?
Well, if you can compare the two, when you're looking at a private one-on-one appointment, that's going to be specifically solely focused specifically on you. When we're doing energy work, it's going to be specifically solely on you, what's going on with you, the blockages, the barriers, physical, mental, emotional issues. It's going to be, from marrying your higher levels, your lower levels, divinitizing, purifying, and clearing out. This course is still going to be about you. Make no mistake about it. It's just going to be more broad. Like, you're going to be able to bring in personal questions at times, as with any event. And you're going to be able to share wholly and completely at times. Because even with the triads, we rotate to where each and every one in the triads has the opportunity to speak, ask a question, whatever. So yeah, but it won't be as like a one-on-one. So they're like two totally different things. Now, will you be going through activations, initiations? Will you be getting energy work? Will you be being assisted, accelerated, quantum leaping? Absolutely.
Yeah.
They're different. But they're both a major boost.
Right. Well, and this course is about 25 hours of content and participation. And so one-on-one is an hour. And I would add to that, William, that the course is really solidifying and it really is solidifying you embodying you.
Yeah, because on the one-on-one, it's usually about one or two or three specific areas of your life stream. The course is going to be all of your life stream.
Right. And the information that you'll have, all the recordings, all the information about how to continue to assist yourself after the course, if you need any refreshers. And throughout those 24 hours and also the whole month, you're getting multiple different pieces of information that assist your journey. There's a library that we provide, including PDF versions of William's books, sort of the best of clips, video clips, YouTube clips that we've had. We pull from podcasts, we pull material related to what we're addressing that month that is accessible to you. So each month is its own immersion into embodying your true presence and ways to see that everything, all different energies, entities, people are outside of you and have nothing to do with you, as William just has shared today. And then there's different tools, multiple different exercise and tools that you're going to experience through each month. So one-on-one is one thing, and then this course is a whole level of opportunities and steps that you're going to walk through and experience to raise your vibrational frequency, to experience what it really feels like to be at the family dinner in your presence, in your loving presence, and having the ability to interact with others without them hitting all your buttons.
And showing up as light, not as an identity.
Great. Wonderful.
One last thing, whether you decide to sign up or not, one thing I want to leave you with is to encourage you to sit with yourself for at least a week, 7 days, one time a day, preferably, in the evening where you have some space, and just get out a journal, a notebook, and just make a gratitude list one time a day. And things not like what you're, quote, supposed to be grateful for. It could be as simple that you have 10 toes, 10 fingers, or if you don't, however many you do have. It could be something as simple as being able to breathe, having eyesight, or having body hair. Or it could be broader about the beauty all around you that nature constantly emanates to you. And there's no right or wrong, nothing too big, too small. It could be how blessed we are to have skin that holds all of our organs in one consolidated physical form. But something you can really feel, something that really gives you a boost, at least for 7 days. And my point of leaving you with this is for you to for you to do that and start to watch how things start to materialize and metamorphosize within you, but also within your world.
Mm-hmm.
Literally, I'm talking about your physical world as well.
Yeah.
It's not just an attitude shift. It's you connecting with your higher levels, the whole universe, not about, well, I want more of this. No, it's like, I'm happy, I'm overjoyed that I have what I have, and I've been given what I've been given, because that's where you start to open up to become more receptive. When you start to take a breath, you can only do this when you're present.
Thank you, William. And I want to make sure we do have a couple more questions that we can get to quickly. And I wanted to add that it's clear on the website when you look at it to go sign up that we offer payment plans tailored to your unique circumstances, what complements you the most. Also, please email mike@williamlinville.com with any additional questions. And William, here's another question. Is it possible to limit myself from waking up during this course without realizing it? How would I know?
The way you would know is if you were to sit there and decide to block yourself, to sit there, to purposely, cognitively, and consciously decide cognitively that you do not deserve to be loved. It has to be conscious. You do not deserve to be loved. You do not deserve to breathe. You do not deserve to have the oxygen going into your lungs. You don't deserve to be in a body. You don't deserve blah, 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 blah. But you would have to sit there very, very cognitively, purposefully sit there and make these decisions and constantly repeat, focusedly repeating, kind of like you're sitting at a I'm not lovable shrine 24 hours a day. And it would have to be something so far out there. And still, I would have to say, you would still be being activated. Because once you go to sleep that night, once you hop in the shower in the morning, once when you're still in between realms, waking up to go start the day or falling asleep at night, the portal opens, which means that conscious mind's out of the way, the subpsyche is put aside, and the rest of you still comes in. Because you got to remember, it's coming into you, but you also got to remember it's you as creator right here, right now, that is giving your body life force. It's you as that facet of creator that's giving your body life force. Then it's you, but as that facet of creator coming up through your soul level, which is your Akashic record realms, through the emotional calibrational lattice work, through the subconscious into the conscious mind. So you got to remember all the way through the crystalline structure, and then from the crystalline structure through each and every organ, through the DNA, the RNA, youth vitality chromosomes, the telomere, each and every molecule, atom and subatom, how it's all arising within you. The mind, and what the mind chooses, or whatever you're going to buy into, what the mind wants to believe or not, that's like 2% of nothingness. So you got to remember, it's coming into you, but yet you're coming up from within you. And then we have this tiny little barrier, the subpsyche, then the conscious mind, emotional calibration lattice work. And emotion is nothing but energy that's been given a certain buildup of direction because you bought into a judgment, to be real and true. So when you bought into that, what happened is this natural energy would flow like a river or like the ocean, the current. It started getting blocked up. And that's where, from you as creator, throwing all these rocks into place that eventually dammed the ocean, it dammed the river, until, okay, yeah, now we got a blockage, now we have a growth, now we have a blah, 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 and a lot of backup, and then something triggers it, the dam breaks, and you have an emotional outburst. Now, that goes through the subpsyche, then that goes through the conscious mind. The conscious mind's constantly observing, trying to prove the subconscious to be right, because you got to remember, the mind is not like, well, this not so much the mind, the ego, the subpsyche does not like to be wrong. It is called the ego, and it's called the polarized split ego, because it's a separate voice than yourself. It's a voice, just like when I was talking about demonics, on and on a little bit. It's like this voice that had been given to yourself to give all that energy a mouth, and now letting it be what you're calling a live deity that you've assumed is you, but it's not you. How it has this big giant life, and I like this, I like that, I like that, I like this, I like to do things that I know are going to hurt me, but I like to do it anyways, says this foreign voice. But part of in this course, we break it down to where you can actually start to realize, and you can also start to hear that a good 10 out of 10 of those voices that you're hearing, you get more and more connected to it, to where you start to realize, wait, that's not even my voice. That belongs to the priest or the preacher, or to my second grade school teacher, or to my mom, or to my great grandfather, my father, or whoever. And then you start to reveal it now you start to realize that that's not you in the first place, and it all starts to dissolve.
Hmm. Thank you, William. We have one last question
Awesome.
from Celine. Will this course enable me to move through fear to such an extent that I will no longer need courses like this?
I sure in the heck hope so. Because, this is one of these things where when I look at it like a bridge of light. And being in like a bridge of light covered in like a prism of light, like a cave of all these fractals of crystalline attributes that are all being lit up. And as you're going across this bridge with all of these heightened frequencies, including through the crystalline structure of your body, each and every cell, molecule, every particle of your being that is being activated, sped up, opened up, and accelerated from within your mind and your body interworld. What I look at is, okay, now I don't see a reason why you would want to go to another course, go back over here or go over there. I don't see why you would want to go to another Buddhist shrine or Muslim or whatever, unless you just want to go there for entertainment, or if you like the color orange. I mean, your call. But it's not, or a silent retreat or whatever. These are things where you're now doing things for, it would be more like what I call like mind candy, more like, okay, America's Most Wanted or Unsolved Mysteries, because you're curious, not because you need it.
Wonderful. That's very clear.
And with a lot of dear ones that go to events, I share with a lot of them when they say, okay, should I go to this event or that event, and on and on. Well, a good amount of them are more so for not about the speaker, not so much about the message, but about the connection with dear ones around them, because they're feeling so alone, like they're out in the middle of the ocean on a boat without a rudder or an engine or oars. Some feel like they're in the middle of the desert with no lights around, and they feel very alone. This is some events, it's more about the camaraderie ship than it is about the message or the messenger.
Right. Well, in William's first book, in one of the first chapters, he really talks about how he's not wanting you to just sit around and believe what he's sharing. And this course is all about, yes, we're going to be sharing, going direct into the most pertinent information that for the mind that's going to assist you to move towards knowing that you can experience your true self, and then the actions that you can take and will take during the course to move towards that. So everything moves from thinking, it's no more a mind game, to experiencing, to feeling. And if you haven't listened to William's latest podcast on the difference between feelings and emotions, please look at that, because that really makes a clear distinction of the difference between a feeling and experiencing emotions, and how, from my perspective, that is so vital for us all to understand intellectually, to assist us in knowing that there is nothing that appears to be bothering us, controlling us, lowering our vibration, keeping us alone that has power over us.
And the way I look at it, Michael, is one keeps you on a hamster wheel in a hamster cage in washer and repeat in a tiny little comfort zone, which is there's not an issue. There's not a problem having a comfort zone. The only issue that arises is that eventually you outgrow that comfort zone to where that comfort zone then becomes your jail cell. And the other is what's on the other side of that comfort zone, which is all that is. So you're taking yourself out of a very small, at this point, I would call it existence, because that's where that takes you. There's a purpose for all of it, but it was never a purpose to get stuck there. But the other part is where now, okay, what do we do when we outgrow the comfort zone, when the comfort zone now starts to become painful?
And to find out some more information about the course, you can go to William's website at williamlinville.com, click on online events, and then on expanding your presence course. This is being and becoming your true self. And this is really a culmination of all of William's assistance. And I've known William for over 20 years, first as a client. And while he continues to expand and the message continues to expand, this core essence of this course is what William has been sharing for 20 years. And it's all about integrating and embodying your higher self with your lower self in all areas of your life,
as well as
so much more.
Fine-tuning and making more specific for you individually.
Yes.
Which we do break down a lot in the course, and we also break down more one-on-one as well. And thank you so much. And don't forget about your gratitude list and watch what starts to happen for you.
Thank you. Thanks for all these wonderful questions and this beautiful opportunity to interact together. And we appreciate you. We love you. Namaste. We'll see you soon.
Namaste. It's been great YouTubing with you.